Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Elven Union starting rosters. So we are going through all the teams from the Blood Bowl 2020 spoiler, and we're looking at just what you can run in a league. So we're looking at 1 million builds, and we are recommending some rosters to you if you were planning on taking them for the next season. But first things first, the changes for the Elf Union team. They didn't actually change that much. So the thrower and the catchers both went up 5k. So it makes building the roster a little bit harder, but realistically you're only losing 20k tops from a starting roster. Now that can make all the difference, and we'll see that when we look through some of our rosters today. But on the whole, not going to hurt the team too much. Passing changes, however. So the majority of this roster forms up some of the better players in the game for passing. So passing has changed a little bit. It's got a bit harder for most people. The elf linemen here are 4+, the throwers are 2+, the catchers are 4+, which is still not bad, and the blitzers are 3+. So the blitzers with their block sidestep now perform as well as most races throwers. Okay, which back in the day with Ange 2 was standard, but now them being able to throw on a 3+ is actually quite a big boon. So your blitzers are key, your throwers are fantastic, and your catchers are really good as well. So elves are well positioned to make the most, or at least to show up all the other races when it comes to passing. And the other thing I forgot to mention is that things have got better for elves. So historically, if you've seen an Elven Union or Pro Elf team run in a league, oh, they get murdered. They die. Okay? The first few games, or every single game for a Pro Elf team in a tough league results in a load of journeymen. Okay? And that can be really horrible when you lose a blitzer or a thrower or a catcher. And all it really does is it limits your elf team, limits the expansion. You cannot buy all the positionals you want at the beginning. So you have to save up. The positionals are expensive, so historically you've had to save up for quite a long time. This got a bit better with the way the new rules work. So you get cash for a game. It's normally going to be 30, 40, 50 depending on the fan factor, the dedicated fans of both the teams. But you get a 10k bonus for every touchdown you score. Now elf teams should be scoring 2 touchdowns a game, 2 to 4 touchdowns a game. So if you get a couple of really key wins in, you can come away with 70, 80k in a match. You're going to be able to at least stay on par with replacing the people who get murdered. So you want to be scoring a lot with elves because you need to build up enough cash to replace the guys that die. Now we just mentioned how good blitzers were, so the first roster we're going to look at is the 2 blitzer mix. This roster comes in at 975, so you even get 20k left over to show off with. So 2 blitzers, 1 thrower, 1 catcher, 7 linemen, and 3 rerolls. So elves have a natural ability to do everything. So those 2 blitzers, now they're 3+ passers, means you got a thrower who is probably currently one of the best throwers in the game. With agility and passing combined, the fact they've got the pass skill is also very, very useful. And you've got 1 catcher. Now, 1 catcher is going to feel a little light. But those 2 blitzers, where they're movement 7, edge 2+, and block, you've basically got 1 really good thrower and 3 really good targets. And let's not forget that the linemen themselves, being agility 2+ and movement 6, are not bad either. So this will give you 11 elf players. It will get you those 2 blitzers that you want to develop. It will get you your thrower that you also want to develop. And you get 1 catcher. The plan for this is to build up those catchers. Now catchers can be SPP hogs, so starting out with the blitzers and the thrower like this means you will be able to spread those touchdowns around. This is going to be a solid beginning to your Elven campaign. And talking of spreading the SPP around, the Pro Elf team, the Elf Union, is the best throwing game, has the best throwing game in Blood Bowl right now, okay? Don't know what's going to happen when High Elves land. We don't know what they're going to look like or whether they're going to be any good at passing. But for now, if you want to pass, if you want to air out, if you want to show off, this max catcher build is going to be a load of fun. Now remember, we talked about scoring touchdowns and how imperative that is. Your defense is going to be okay. It's not great, okay? You've got no one with block. But this build, you will be able to score many touchdowns. Okay, so max catcher build, you've got 2 throwers, 4 catchers, 5 linemen, and 3 rerolls. The reason you've got 2 throwers is because they are only 15,000 more than a lineman, and that gets you pass access on a normal, and also that 2+ pass versus a 4+ pass. There's really no reason why not. You can use the other thrower as a lineman all you like, but all it means is that it's going to be throwing a quick pass brilliantly, and you're going to be building those SPPs in no time. 4 catchers are going to be unstoppable on offense. They will pay in defense because all you're working with here is vanilla strength 3 elves. You can do a lot with vanilla strength 3 elves though, but realistically what I want you to do is, if you're going to run this roster, you want to burn as much as you can touchdowns wise to get you to 100k. Realistically, you can do that in 2 games. If you have a bad luck, 3 games, and then you get your first blitzer, and then you get your second blitzer, and then you've got everything you will ever want in your elf team. But what if you want a bit of everything and you're happy to trust the dice? Okay, we've got another build for you here. It's the 980k 2 reroll mix. So you drop a reroll and you upgrade a lineman to a catcher and a second lineman to a second thrower. So you end up with 2 blitzers, 2 throwers, 2 catchers, 5 linemen, 2 rerolls. This is literally, you get the box from Games Workshop, you put 1 lineman aside to be your journeyman, guaranteed, and then you put everything else on the board. Normally, you wouldn't necessarily run that 2 thrower build, but like we just discussed, for 15k you get 2+ passing, and quite frankly, if you're going to be using the random MVP rules, you're running 2 rerolls here, guys. If you get an MVP on a thrower who scored a touchdown, got a couple of completions, which you should be able to do, you're going to be able to get that 3rd reroll real quick, and then all you've managed to do is just cheat 100k out of your opponents. And if you do get 100k, you can buy the reroll, or you can pick up that 3rd catcher. You've got 2 throwers here. You've got 2 throwers. As soon as you're building up that team, quite frankly, you can do it right now. You've got 2 sidestep block guys. You've got 2 throwers that have got all the skill potential. Okay, on the ball, really recommend leader to build up your team. Definitely worth considering as well. 3rd catcher, 4th catcher, maybe an apothecary. We should probably talk about that actually. So yes, you can save up your cash for any of these rosters, and it might be worth picking up that apothecary before you do absolutely anything, because it's going to save you money in the long run, especially as what you want to do is build up your SPPs for these guys. 2 reroll mix will give you a bunch of positionals. You will be playing with 1 less reroll. Okay, you can probably get away with it. Let's face it, Dark Elves always start out with 2 rerolls. Not entirely true. See the Dark Elf video for that. But you can reliably pull this out. The way Pro Elves play though, you kind of want to rely on stretch plays, and you kind of got to rely on dodgy, risky plays. That's why they're an exciting team to play. So not having that reroll may hamper you, but I don't think it's going to take you very long to get over that hump. But if you're trying to save up for a reroll, plus you're trying to pay for replacement players, it could be a bit brutal. The problem is, I really like all of these rosters. The catcher one is subpar, okay? But it is really fun, and it depends what you want to achieve in your league. So if you are going for the most winningest team, then the 2 reroll mix, assuming you can get a leader on your thrower, probably a power build. The other roster, the first one we looked at, the 2 blitzer mix, is probably a more reliable and safe build. You've got 25k there already, so after the first game you will be able to pick up that apothecary. To be fair to you, you could... I wouldn't actually change this roster. 2 blitzer mix is solid if you want to play it on safe. If you're willing to play hard to get that 3rd reroll, either by leader or by saving up their cash for it, then you can take the 2 reroll mix. You got 20k there as well, so you get that apothecary real quick. You're going to be scoring a load of touchdowns with any of these. Max catcher is, if you're going for passes and for touchdowns in your league, this roster will get you there. I just don't know which one I would take. Let me know in the comments below which one you are taking if you're planning on running elves, or which one you would least like to face. Guess it depends on what team you're playing with. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me for another Starting Rosters, and we will be back again soon.